Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told I had a voice radio, so today I am showing you a brand new Vanilluxe card. And I like Vanilluxe. Vanilluxe has seen some very interesting cards in the Pokemon trading card game. He's also quite a fan of automatic paralysis. Could this Vanilluxe be the next good one? Well, let's have a look. Water typing is very good, as I've said in a couple of videos lately. Decidueye is getting big, which means Volcanian's getting big, and Volcanian's weak to water. And of course, Aqua Patch, link in the description, is very good for water Pokemon. It's Dark Patch for water Pokemon. It allows you to attach a basic water from your discard to one of your benched water Pokemon. So, some advantages straight off the bat. Now, weakness to metal is about as good as you can get at the moment. No one's playing Sizzle. It's a pretty good weakness. Now, the retreat cost of 2, I don't always mention retreat cost. When I do, it's because it's important. The retreat cost of 2 here is not ideal. You're going to want to be retreating him occasionally for 1 energy or fewer. It's a bit of a pain. And of course, the fact that Vanilluxe is a stage 2 means that you are going to be relying on things like rare candy to get him going nice and quickly. It's not particularly ideal, but the attacks are pretty good. First attack, 1 water energy, 20 damage to everything. Now don't forget Choice Band that allows you to do 30 damage to the EX or GX in the active, if there is one, and 50 to the active, 20 to all the bench for a single energy. We talked about this with the non-GX Tapu Koko, link in the description. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. It's nice to be able to spread damage around, soften them up in the early game, especially when you've got 140 HP and you're only giving up a single prize. But it's the second attack here that really is the main event, so to speak. Free water energy, 80 damage, not a good start. You may discard 2 water energy attached to this Pokemon. If you do, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Now, I like this because it means that if you are getting the KO, you don't need the paralysis, therefore you don't discard the energy. And if you're not getting the KO, you do discard the 2 energy, but you have to, so you're happy. It means you're not always discarding the energy unless you particularly want to. Now, the problem here is that automatic paralysis is really good in a format where everybody's playing Floatstone and trying to retreat, or everyone's playing free retreaters like Mew and trying to retreat. Now, this video is hopefully going to last around for a while and the format is going to shift and change. So if you're listening to this in a format where we're using loads of Floatstone, yay Vanilluxe. At the moment, however, that's not the case. Tauros GX is seeing quite a lot of play, which means people are playing a whole bunch of escape rope to try and force Tauros out of the active and attack something else. Check my Tauros video for why that's a particularly good idea. So it means that people aren't retreating so much. So the obvious thing is, alright, let's play Vanilluxe with Vileplume. That way they are item locked and they can't play Switch and Escape Rope. It means that they can't really do anything other than retreat. Oh wait, they can't retreat because they're paralyzed. Now they can play Olympia, but without Versus Seeker under item lock, they ain't using it very much indeed. Now this did work for the old Vanilluxe. The old Vanilluxe worked with the old Vileplume and the Victini and was a very, very nice deck. But the thing was, that one, you put the energy on and you paralyze. It was something like 15 out of every 16 turns or something stupid like that. So it was worth it. Whereas here, you've got to keep discarding the 2 energy every single turn in order to keep going. And it's very, very awkward. And let's face it, if you're playing Vileplume, you really want to play the Stadium card, Forest of Giant Plants, to evolve up straight away. And at the moment, everybody's just playing it with Decidueye because it's amazing, so why would you not just play it with Decidueye? I'm not sure Victini is a better partner here. Now, when I first wrote my script for this video a few days ago, I said that discarding the 2 energy a turn is a little bit too much. There's no great way to accelerate water and it's hard to stream the energy. Well, that's no longer true. We've got Aqua Patch. So the ideal situation here is that you attach all the energy to the Vanilluxe, and you use Aqua Patch to accelerate energy, and then you discard 2 to paralyze. Then you retreat for a new Vanilluxe, take a KO without discarding. Then you discard 2 to paralyze, and then you retreat, etc., etc. The problem is, and there's 2 big problems with this idea. Number 1, you've got a retreat cost of 2, so you put free energy on Vanilluxe, discard 2, and then you can't retreat unless you've got a floatstone on there early. And problem number 2, we want to be using Vileplume in order to stop them playing Escape Rope Switch to get round paralysis. And we want to be playing the item card Aqua Patch to accelerate energy. I'm hoping you can see the problem here. It doesn't quite work. And that's an issue. Now, one thing you can do here is just use occasional paralysis and then just be using the first attack. So you paralyze when you really need to. When you don't need to paralyze to stop a KO or something like that, you just spread damage with the first attack. But that's gonna be a little bit awkward. Honestly, the only real way to play something like this with the automatic paralysis is to play it with Vileplume. And this just doesn't work with Vileplume. And even if it does work, it doesn't work anywhere near as well as something like Decidueye would. If Mega Beedrill, who is a grass Pokemon, can't work like this, I don't think Vanilluxe can. Yes, I know Beedrill needed the Spirit Link, but even so, and it didn't have a second attack, whereas Vanilluxe does, still not a huge fan. I am forced to give Vanilluxe 2 Wassies. It's an interesting card, it's a fun card, and you can make fun decks with this and play around online or at League, but when you go into a tournament and you're trying to win, I just don't think Vanilluxe is going to work. It's too awkward, it's too clunky, and we've got better options for Vileplume, like Decidueye or like the Trevenant I showed you just a couple of days ago. Now you know the deal, ladies and gentlemen, there is a comment section, go nuts, be nice. There are buttons to both like this video and subscribe to this channel. I would be very happy if you would use them both. You can follow me on Twitter @TheWassie, and the most important thing as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.